Before our tax dollars were used to invade Venezuela, ending up killing at least 80 and wounding countless more while kidnapping 2. Before our tax dollars were used to terrorize another of our nation's cities and murder 2 U.S. citizens who dared to resist, there was something Ralph Waldo Emerson wrote to his 15-year-old daughter, Emma, that I wanted to share with you. And today, as we begin this month's theme of resilience, it actually fits better than it would have last month under our theme of resistance. Now, the following has been adapted since it was first penned in April of 1854, but this is, in essence, what Emerson wrote to his daughter. Finish each day and be done with it. You have done what you could. Some blunders and absurdities no doubt crept in. Forget them as soon as you can. Tomorrow is a new day. You shall begin it serenely, and with too high a spirit to be encumbered with your old nonsense. Remember that Ellen was 15 years old at the time. What a wonderful and wise point of view. What a wonderful gift to your daughter to treat her as the full and mature person she was. Finish each day and be done with it. You have done what you could. Some blunders and absurdities no doubt crept in. Forget them as soon as you can. Tomorrow is a new day. What a wonderful message for anyone to hear at any age. And I repeat it because it flies in the face of what we've been seeing in the news these days. And I don't know about you, but I am still feeling worn down by our state of the nation. Earlier in our time together this morning, we had a children's story, and you just saw the video testimonial about the power of community. I'm going to take a little different tack now in what I'm going to say to you. Some point this week, one of you, I don't remember whom, and it doesn't matter, mentioned to me how inspired you were by the venerable monks marching for peace. And I am sure I smiled and nodded, but the truth was I hadn't paid much attention to that march. So after smiling and nodded, I said, I better learn a little more, and I began to pay more attention. And my Lord, what a wonderful thing is happening right now. Certainly, any group, or individual for that matter, walking from Fort Worth, Texas to Washington, D.C. during autumn and winter demonstrates both resilience and strength. When I was in seminary, I met a colleague working for I don't even remember, the word has escaped me, worked as a social worker in hospice, who talked about being part of the Great Peace March for disarmament in the 80s. And I was probably less impressed by that than the others he was talking to. I can be that way sometimes, I have to admit. But the Buddhist monks who began their peace march from Texas last autumn and are sent to reach the District of Columbia in about a week and a half now have captured my attention, and that of many others who have offered support and lined the highways along their route, often traveling from afar to do so. In fact, watching people in wheelchairs or others asking for blessing and prayer from the monks as they walk by, I find myself tearing up, offering blessings to those who have asked for them and receiving blessings in turn. And I remember something I said a week ago at the Bay Area non-cooperation training I talked about that happened in our church in Oakland a week ago Saturday, and how 9 others from this congregation joined me during a breakout group. And I don't even remember what the question was, but Olivia, you were there with me. I talked about how when I was in seminary, a priest from Central America came and was talking to us students, seminarians, about the wins, but mostly the losses in what the attempt was with liberation theology in Central and South America. And during a break, he said privately to me that liberation theology wasn't able, in his view, to do what it promised because we needed first a theology of tears, that we needed to grieve before we could claim power in a whole new way. And it may sound silly now, if not weak to say it, but I can't help but think we in the U.S. today need space to grieve what's being done to and in our nation. It is worth being driven to tears. Amid the footage from all over the country, a woman in Bemidji, Minnesota, and that's way north in Minnesota, was carrying a sign that read, "When cruelty becomes normal, compassion looks radical." I'm sure she is not the only one in Minnesota or anywhere in this country holding such a sign. When cruelty becomes normal, compassion looks radical, because compassion always is radical. And I can't help but wonder about the pain, the hurt beneath the testosterone-fueled bravado by our ICE agents. Now, maybe I'm missing something, but I haven't yet caught an image of a female frontline ICE officer. There are? Okay, I stand corrected. I still wonder. 20 years ago, I was talking, or even more, about the culture war in our nation, and that nowadays that phrase seems trite, but it really is beneath much of what we are experiencing. People lashing out in anger, using immigrants as a scapegoat when they feel that what has been promised them hasn't been close to being delivered. Now that is a pain that has been manipulated, but the heart of that pain, there's truth there. There's truth there. And it needs to be respected and not manipulated and turned into something truly evil. The monks are calling us to compassion, and many are answering the call. People are lining the streets, lining the highways, handing the monks flowers and blessings. And after receiving those flowers, the monks are giving them back to others on the route who are sitting with hands in prayer to receive them. If you think about it, it's like a progressive version of our own flower celebration, where in the spring, the start of the summer, I haven't done this for you yet, I'm looking forward to it, we bring flowers and we put a big bouquet of them, and then, at least as I've done it before, I don't know how you do it, we're going to find out, the young ones are asked to hand flowers back to everyone. And so you give a flower and receive a flower from who knows. That's how so much of the world works. We give, but not from whom. We receive, not knowing where the blessing came from. But that's part of the fabric of love, the fabric of civilization. It's a beautiful world when we make it so. It's a cruel world when we make it so. Let us have compassion for ourselves as much as we can muster, and use that transferable skill, if I can misuse a phrase, to then bless others, bless strangers in turn. Thank you. So may it be. Amen.